I've known psychopaths. I've known liars. I've known scam artists. I've known some of the most terrible types of people the world can produce. But I've never known them all at once. Until recently. This is a horror story. And this is a horror story that's still going on. I moved into this house 2 months ago. It seemed like a nice house. There was a nice kitchen, nice lounge. Alright, the landlady, she seemed a bit of a weirdo, but it's no bother. You don't make friends with the landlady, do you? 2 weeks in, I happen to look out of that window, and she's standing in the car park opposite, against the wall, and she's staring at the house. Okay, that's weird. Why is she just staring at the house? And she's watching it for like half an hour, just staring. And I'm just thinking, okay, that's really weird and really not right. But of course there's nothing I can do about that, because being weird is not a crime. If being weird was a crime, I'd be doing a life sentence right now. So I have no choice but to let it slide. And hope that she does nothing else weird. The other tenants that were here when I moved in, probably the best housemates I've ever had. They do tell me, yeah, she's not that great a landlord, but, you know, she'll probably just leave you alone, you'll be fine. They move out, and a few days later there's an email. There's a viewing next Tuesday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, fine, cool, whatever. I'll make sure the house is clean. I'll hoover the floors. There's some stuff in the kitchen that's going to be collected by someone else. I'll just put that in a neat little pile. Not too much of a mess. Yep, great, fine. The night before, I get a text message. Hi James, how clean is the house? I send an honest one back saying, yeah, it's clean, it's fine, it's good. 9 o'clock the next morning, I hear the landlady coming in through the front door. 5 minutes later, I hear the hoover. I cleaned all those carpets yesterday, what the hell are you doing? And I wait in my room for her to go. It takes her till 3 o'clock in the afternoon to leave. She spends 6 hours in my house. At one point I have to flipping just sneak out the front door just to get away, because, you know, I don't want this weirdo hanging around. I go for a coffee. I come back and she's at the front door. She's just walking up, leaving. It's about 3 o'clock. And she says, oh, there's another viewing in a few days. Just make sure you keep the house clean. As if it wasn't clean in the first place. I go in. She's moved everything about the kitchen. All that stuff that was in the nice neat pile, it's scattered about various drawers and cupboards. And it's mixed in with some of my stuff that was on the drying rack. She's stolen one of the washing up liquids. The flipping one that was mostly full. I find the bath mats in the kitchen cupboard. I find that she's not only painted the back garden wall black, which means the seagulls will shit all over it, she's also filled up the bins, so I've not been able to empty the kitchen bin for the last 2 weeks. But worse than that, I find she's thrown away my shampoo, my soap, my air fresheners, and a full, intact, non-broken drinking glass that belonged to someone else. And I'm flipping pissed off by this. Like, what the hell do you think you're doing? You don't walk into someone's house and do that kind of stuff. And then for the next week, she's suddenly just letting herself in at random times whenever she wants, just turning up. Sometimes without warning, sometimes with like a 5-minute text message saying, oh, there's a viewing in 10 minutes. Like what? You're supposed to give me 24 hours notice. What the? And I really don't want this woman hanging around. So if I hear the front door opening, I'm just gonna stay in here, stay away, just try not to confront her, especially about throwing my stuff in the bin, and wait for her to leave. Cut to last Thursday morning. It's not even 9 o'clock yet, and I hear her coming in through the front door. Of course, I don't want her hanging around, so I stay up here. But a few minutes later, I hear a lot of noise coming from the lounge downstairs. And at first I think, oh God, she's cleaning again. The lounge doesn't need cleaning, it's tidy. I open the curtains and the sofas are in a trailer thing outside. The sofas from the lounge, probably the comfiest sofas in Bangor. And I've had no warning about this. I don't know what's going on. I'm wondering, what the hell is she doing? Is she even allowed to do this without warning me, without notice, without my permission? Eventually she leaves. I go downstairs. The living room door is closed. The key that is usually there in the lock has gone. Fortunately, it is still unlocked. She's only gone and turned it into a flipping massive bedroom, completely got rid of my lounge, which was advertised with the house. She's just flipping disposed of it. And she's turned it into a bedroom and left all my stuff in there and everybody else's stuff as well. And she's put some stuff in a bag, some of which is mine, some of which is other people's. My tablet and my tablet charger are in there. My archery equipment is still in the cupboard. And she's just coming as though I have no right to anything. No right to live in this house. No right to use the communal areas. Just wiped it all away. Like, what? So, I'm not having this. I check my contract. I see if there's a thing that says if she can do this. There's not, but I find something else. The contract is bullshit. It's not even for this house. The first page is, but the rest is all copy and pasted from somewhere else. The room descriptions are completely wrong. I've been missold this house. Completely. Scammed. It's a bogus contract. So I'm left wondering, what can I do about this? Best option, student housing office, see what they say. And then I think about the lounge thing and I think, hold on. This house was advertised as having a lounge. And there's a lounge mentioned in the inventory. So I check the inventory, and sure enough, the third page along, lounge. Lounge. The next day, I go up to the library. I think I'll do the student housing office this afternoon. There's no real rush. I get a copy of the inventory. I make sure the contract, I've got everything. Go up to the library, get a few books out, come back, and she's in my kitchen. She's let herself in again without my permission when I'm not here. And she says, "Oh, by the way, somebody's moving their stuff into one of the rooms." What? Just what? Can you even do that without telling me? I think I have a right to know who is going to be in my house. Like, what the... So I think, no, not having this. Grab my contract, grab my inventory copy, grab a few pictures of the lounge, pop them on a flash drive, list of all the weird stuff she's been doing, the stuff that is unreasonable, up to the student housing office, where I discover there is nothing I can do about any of it. Her entering the house without my permission whenever she wants. Nope. Normally, in most cases, landlords can't do that. Except, and I'm pretty sure this is a loophole so dodgy bitches like her can get away with it, with certain types of contract where things are rented on a room by room basis. And this house is rented on a room by room basis, isn't it? So there's nothing I can do about that. There's nothing I can do about the contract being bogus. And there's nothing I can do about the lounge. Even though, it turns out, she's advertising this house as having 8 bedrooms and a lounge. And a lounge, by the way. No, this house has 7 bedrooms and a room that was a lounge. She's basically committing fraud, and the student housing office say, no, can't do anything about it. And it turns out as well, I'm stuck in a fixed term contract for 12 months. I can't leave. Nothing I can do. Well, there was one thing I could do. I could spread the word. Make sure she never rents in this town again. There's a website called Marks Out of Tenancy. So I left a little review on there. Made sure that, somebody hopefully will come across that and hopefully not rent from the cow. But it's just beyond the pale. It's not right. A huge majority of my generation cannot afford to buy their own home. They are going to have to rent. Sometimes maybe they're never going to be able to afford to buy a home. I know I can't afford a home right now. I can't afford £40,000 for a deposit. No chance. So we have to rent. And yet, bad landlords like the one I currently have can get away with the most egregious, horrible stuff. They can get away with throwing your stuff away. They can get away with coming in without your permission. It's not right. It's so not right. If my generation is going to have to rent, if we're not going to be able to afford a house, then things have to change. That loophole where she can enter the house whenever she wants, that has to be closed. The thing with the lounge should be made concrete that you can't change the usage of a room once the house has been rented to someone. If you advertise a house in a particular way, it must be rented as that. It's basic stuff. And I'd advise anyone in the UK watching this to use the Marks Out of Tenancy website to look at landlord reviews, to look at house reviews, to look at what other people have said. Because we need to make sure that landladies like this one can't get away with their stuff, can't get away with their shit. Now, my landlady wasn't on there, so, you know, I made sure to change that. But things have to change. And we have to make sure that the rental market for tenants, for students, for adults, for everyone who can't afford to buy their own home, who has to rent, is a safe and honest place. Where we're protected, where our possessions are protected, where we can live in our own homes, even if we don't own the deeds to them. Oh yeah, and one more thing. I found out today that my deposit's not protected either. The contract says it's going to be put into a deposit protection scheme. It even mentions which deposit protection scheme. But when I went on their website checker to check if my deposit was protected, they've got no record of it. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that one yet, if there is anything I can do about it. This whole thing is a nightmare, a mess.